All right, thank you everyone for being here with us today. Is a blessing from God to be able to be here to speak to you, and I pray about it all the time. You know, what can I do to teach what I've come to learn about the paradigm? And this week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about implants. And I know we've already talked about implants before, but it's like I was just saying before we started the recording, we could talk about these things over and over and over and still not grasp the completeness of the subject, because it really is endless. But the paradigm that I was referring to, it's one, the paradigm of overcoming directed energy weapon attacks. And it's one, deactivating implants, two, demagnetizing the body, wearing electrical components like capacitors and inductors, and three, detoxing nanomachinery. And to do any one of those three correctly, you need to know what's going on in that realm as far as being targeted with directed energy weapons. Directed energy weapons, they do work without nanomachinery. They do work without implants. But with implants and nanomachinery, the directed energy weapons become 1,000 times more effective. So that's why I focus on the paradigm, because as far as I can tell, every targeted individual has these components to their targeting, meaning implants and nanomachinery. I have yet to meet one person that has just been getting hit with directed energy weapons without the implants or nanomachinery. And the general public, 99.9% of them have nanomachinery in them here in the Western world. And, you know, if you're talking about like Southeast Asia, you go to like Indonesia, you get on one of those islands, potentially you'll have people without it. But I was in very rural places 3-4 years ago in Latin America, places that are just like Nicaragua, to be exact. And even in those places, people had the nanomachinery, a lot of the population, because they had taken the shots. And even those areas, when I first got there, they didn't even have chemtrails. People had still taken the shots. So long story short, this is relevant for everybody, the paradigm, but it's most relevant for targeted individuals, so, or survivors. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody just for this segment. And I'll do the presentation, and then as we after we finish with the presentation, then we'll open it up to Q&A and then open discussion at that point. Again, thank you so much for being here. When enough of us learn this paradigm and execute it properly, we're going to be done with this. We're going to be done with targeting and the horrors that go with it, the genocide and everything that's going with it. Okay, I'm just jumping into the presentation. Okay, so for this week, what we're going to cover is how to utilize electromagnetic fields and why they are important. So with electromagnetic fields, we have the EMP devices to deactivate implants, but we also have pulsed electromagnetic field devices that help detox nano. And I put those kind of in the same category, although that's step 1 of the paradigm and step 3 of the paradigm. Step 1, deactivate implants, and step 3, detoxing nano, can be facilitated with a powerful enough pulsed electromagnetic field or EMP. Both of those things can happen at the same time potentially. By, not to get too far off here, but by building a high voltage power supply around, I don't know, 20,000 to 50,000 volts, somewhere around 20,000 volts at 110, 120 on your housing, hooked up to your house, somewhere around there, the nanotech rapidly deactivates, that's not the right way to say it, rapidly breaks apart and your body can detox it. So again, if you have questions about that, please remember for the end, because I would love to talk more about that. That's an endless topic, pulsed electromagnetic fields. It's the future of healthcare. Okay, so the paradigm and implants. The paradigm is what I've said. I'm going to say it again though. 1, deactivating implants. 2, demagnetizing the body, wearing electrical components, and 3, detoxing nanomachinery. If you do those 3 things effectively, you can dissipate or attenuate the directed energy weapon attacks so strongly that it will be like you're not being hit. All right, you'll still be able to feel it. There are still other weapon systems in play that can interact with you. For example, where I'm at right now with the targeting here in my local environment is that these people are dumping aerosols 24/7, just dumping chemical particulate and chemicals in my near environment. And that's, if they weren't doing that, I wouldn't have any symptoms whatsoever. And the only symptoms I have are because of that. So even with them trying to access my body with the directed energy weapons and the aerosols going at the same time, this is the best they can do as me talking to you right now. This little bit of pain I've got in this one spot, because that's all they can do is generate this pain in this one spot while I'm, doing all of I'm wearing capacitors, inductors. I'm detoxing nano machinery every night using pulsed electromagnetic fields. I sleep on one. And I have deactivated implants. And in fact, I just did maintenance of deactivating implants, meaning I made sure that I didn't get any new implants in my body. And I don't want to get too far off on that, but I will a little bit. These implants can be shot into you. They're very, 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 very small. And the weapon systems these people are using can fire through walls, potentially some material, not all material. Like, I've not seen them be able to fire through metal unless they're literally right next to it. But I have seen that fire through a tin roof when I was in Nicaragua. Crawled up on the roof. It was a whole thing. But like, as far as drywall and wood walls, which is the majority of new construction, they can fire pretty easily through those things. Glass they can fire through, certain types of glass, not all types of glass, so forth, so forth. So even though I've done these things, I still maintain them, right? It's never like you've done it once and you're there. It's like, this is the paradigm, this is the education, and this is what we do to survive day in and day out. So it's not so much a silver bullet, but it is the solution. And what I mean by that is that you actively use this education on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. Okay, so implants give operators control over specific regions of the body. They store magnetic charge in electrical fields. It's just the same way a capacitor works, but this capacitor is resonating with nanomachinery. So this implant, this capacitor implant, I shouldn't have mixed that up. Sorry for making that confusing, but the implants that, like I was just talking about, the really, really small ones that are shot into everyone, and some of the ones that are done in surgeries too. Sometimes those can be different though. They can have different effects and different objectives and different outcomes. But the very, very small ones and a lot of the regular surgical ones, when they're shot into you, they take the energy from the directed energy weapons, the pulses from the directed energy weapons, and they store them in the body and then release them in a controlled way. And in that controlled way of them releasing that energy, that magnetic field into an electrical field, so from magnetic energy, from directed energy weapons to electricity, more or less, there's a little more to it than that. It pulses, right? And these pulses end up resonating with nanomachinery and heavy metals. So what that means is that the nanomachinery and heavy metals get pulled to the implants, right? And at each one of these implant sites, you get this little, like, it's like a, imagine it's like a growing fungus or a mold, right? And it's branching out from each one of these implant spots, these nanomachinery arrays. Okay, so when this implants are inside of you, right? The operators, the human traffickers in your area, and if you're targeted, there's always human operators, always. It might be that there's only one or two for whatever reason, because of where you're at in the world or who you are, I don't know. It might be that there's 5, 10, 15, 20. again, for where you are and where you are in the world and who you are. For example, if you live right next to a military base, you're going to have huge amount of these operators on you, messing with your body, right? Accessing the technology. So either way, not to get too far off on that. I could get so far off on everything, so excuse me for doing that. These implants can be accessed by the human traffickers utilizing software programs, and in turn, those software programs are giving orders to weapons platforms, usually drone-based, and that's how the energy is being sent directed to specific parts of your body. Okay, so that was a mouthful. Excuse me for making that a mouthful. Your body can be accessed through the implants using software programs and weapons platforms. The operator sends a code to the software sends a code to the weapons platform directs the energy at that part of your body. Once that implant is hit by the weapons platform, at that point, the chain of the magnetic energy is converted to that electrical capacity, either through the nanotech or the implant itself. Usually it's both, and it sends that electricity feeling, that voltage, that current through your body. And that's what's giving you the shocking feeling or just the generally inflamed feeling. They can keep it low, they can turn it high. It just depends how much nanotech you have in you, because the nanotech is acting like a backstop. The implants are acting like hubs. These low current voltage pulses pull heavy metals and nanomachinery to implant. Okay, so that's what I was just saying, is that the pulses coming from the implant is resonating in a magnetic way, so to speak, pulling heavy metals and nanomachinery to them. And again, growing out of each implanted spot like a fungus. The heavy metals form first, and they form very rapidly. They form these self-assembling wires. I'm talking like a matter of 20 minutes to a few hours, depending on how much heavy metals you're breathing, eating, drinking. And again, this is why the contractors or human traffickers, whatever you want to call them, are utilizing aerosols. That's another thing that most targeted survivors have in their environment, is there are aerosols being released near them. And what I mean by that is magnetically charged particles that are directed into breezeways and then breathways, and they go in your breath, obviously. You breathe it, obviously, excuse me. It goes to your lung. From your lung, it goes to your blood system. When it gets in the blood system, at that point, it can be pulled, like I was talking about, or you could say it's magnetically resonating with the implants to the implant. And that's how any one implant, even though it can be very, 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 very small, can become a big issue in your life if left unchecked. And that's why the first step of the paradigm is to deactivate implants. Okay, so right here, if you can look at the screen, I've got a little diagram. This is I just had AI, some of the ChatGPT or something like that, build this for me. But in this woman's body, we've got these red lines, and this is just to show you the idea. This is not actually how it will look. It'll look more like the next picture you'll see in a second. But anyways, these red lines, this would be like the nanomachinery heavy metal chains. And these yellow dots would be the implants, okay? And over time, it forms, every one of those yellow dots starts to grow out or even beyond the yellow dots, and all these blue dots in this next picture would be nanomachinery. And this would just be one way to look at nanomachinery, meaning that it forms in plaques like the plaque on your teeth, but much more vicious. It's much harder to get off. It is like plaque, though. It's like a rubber cement on the inside of your body. In certain conditions, it will keep that rubber cement quality. In other conditions, it'll become crusty and fall apart. But each of these blue dots would be like another little colony of nanomachinery. And again, this is just a picture to help you understand the idea. In real life, it would plaque more so on the arteries and the veins and some organs, like around the heart, kidney, because kidney filters blood, that type of thing, more so than evenly dispersed. And especially on targeted individuals, targeted survivors. Now, this is happening to a whole population, but in targeted survivors specifically, it's on the left side of their body. And usually, not always, but the vast majority of the time, it's concentrated on the left side of their body. And the reason for that is because the mind control part of this, the inflammation that they're trying to generate in the brain, is primarily located in the center and the left side of the brain. And there's a lot of theory behind that, but that's for another time. You talk about that maybe in the nanotech week. So factors to nanomachinery assembly. The self-assembly nanomachinery heavy metal artificial nervous system can form in a few hours to a few days. Now that's what we just saw in the last slide, right? That's what I mean by the self-assembling nanomachinery heavy metal artificial nervous system. It's this thing right here, because it operates like an artificial nervous system when voltages or electricity is transmitted through it. The internal factors to how fast this accrues and how it accrues in the body are, generally speaking, inflammation, disease, injury, sickness, acidicness, constipation, and your habits. Like basically, what toxins are you regularly ingesting? Are you smoking? Are you drinking? That type of thing. The more inflamed you are, again, generally speaking, the more acidic you are, the faster all of these things are going to accrue into your body. The faster the nanomachinery is going to steal biomaterials from your body to assemble itself. And then the more you're going to resonate with the weapon system when it hits you. External factors to how fast this stuff grows is the aerosol toxins I've been talking about, because those are heavy metal. Those are basically chemtrail-like particulates. They've got the nanomachinery, smart dust, smart filaments. They've got heavy metals, synthetic heavy metals, sometimes chemical compounds that operate in between heavy metals and synthetic heavy metals. It goes on and on and on. The food quality, a lot of food has heavy metals in it and has had heavy metals in it for a very long time. Water quality, I've noticed the water quality here locally in the greater Portland, Oregon area to have hit very, very low marks. So it's become very acidic over the last 3-4 years. Before that, it had other toxins like fluoride and who God knows, chloride, all that stuff. But it's gotten very, very bad in the last 3-4 years. And that's a longer conversation of how it got that way. There are people in your environment that go around poisoning the water and the food. Right? That's a longer conversation about foreign intelligence that we don't need to go over right this minute. Mold is a big external factor. When you're being exposed to these magnetic particles that are being released into your environment, and they release them in chemtrails, they release them through cars, dryers, fireplaces, geez, you name it. Sewers is huge. That's why most people don't have a perception of breathing these bad aerosols, is because their sewers are being utilized against them. And how that works is your neighbor, or your spook neighbor, not your regular neighbor. There is a difference, obviously. Not all your neighbors are bad people. Even if they're involved in the community harassment, they probably have no idea about what I'm talking about. But that's to say, there is a few in your near environment that very much do know what I'm about to say. They'll pour chemicals down their drain, and it will go up drain from you, and it will go down the big drain that leaves your house will go down the street. So the people up drain from you that pour chemicals down it, when you go to flush or use the shower or something like that, your water from your house goes down the drain. These chemicals go up. That's how it works, through regular displacement. And as long as they pour enough chemicals down the drain, you will get toxified through these aerosols going directly into your house. That was the first aerosol form that they hit me with, going all the way back to 2016 or 2015. Maybe it wasn't the first. Doesn't matter. It was the first major attack, though. And then during break-ins, chemicals. Pesticides and herbicides also double as synthetic heavy metal compounds, basically making your body more acidic. So when they break into your house, a lot of times what they're doing is they're finely misting herbicides and pesticides, or even outside of your car, on your car, outside your house, where you go regularly, on your clothes, stuff like that. That's a lot of what they're doing, is spraying these herbicides and pesticides. Things like Roundup, that way they have cover too. It's like, oh, it's just Roundup. Okay, so now how to disable implants, and why we're talking about implants is because the implants are acting like nodes. They're acting as the anchor for the nanomachinery to grow in certain areas and form that self-assembling heavy metal nanomachinery chain or artificial nervous system that goes through your body. How to disable implants. Electromagnetic pulses, or EMPs, fry the capacitor inductor circuit within an implant. Do you remember how earlier I said that the directed energy weapons, the magnetic energy coming from them, is hitting the implant, and the implant is converting that to a electrical capacity that is sending voltages through your body, along with the nanomachinery is doing the same thing once it's fully surrounded the implant? Well, you can utilize that element of the implant against itself. If you put a very strong electromagnetic pulse over that implant, then it will actually it will disable that circuit. And that's what I've been saying with deactivate implants. I think that the implants still have some capacity to transmit information after you EMP them. For example, potentially GPS coordinates, just by being reflective, right, to other weapon systems or radar systems. But after you run the EMP over an implant, it loses its ability to gather nanomachinery around it and also convert that magnetic pulse from the directed energy weapons into electrical capacity into your body. So it's very much worth your time to do the first step of the paradigm, disabling or deactivating implants. The easiest the easiest thing to do to build a EMP device is to use a stun gun. And I'm gonna show you guys two that I built here in a second. However, and this is key, if you live in an area where you cannot get access to a stun gun, if you're in the United States of America and you're in New York, technically you can't have a stun gun. Just go across the border, figure that out. That's all I'm saying. If you're in the United States, you should be able to figure that out, how to get a stun gun. That being said, if you're isolated or something like that, I do understand that, and I'm sorry for your situation. Maybe send me an email, we'll try to figure something out. Okay, however, if you live in Great Britain or France or, I don't know, even China, I know people in China can't get access to what we're talking about right now because of their firewall, but there's lots of targeted people there too. You can make any high voltage power supply into an EMP. All you need is a spark gap, a coil of wire, and that high voltage power supply. And when I mean high voltage, I mean over 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, something like that. I don't know the bottom end. I don't know the minimum amount required to mess with these implants. Probably depends on a lot of things. But I do know that the stun guns that I've been working with, operating with, are operating between 5,000 to 12,000, and those have been working fine. I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, but that you could go lower to 4,000, 3,000, potentially 2,000. I do not know though, so don't quote me on that. The coil of wire provides a shaped magnetic field, and the spark gap provides a pulse like a quick acting switch. Okay, so right here, you've got a donut shape. This donut shape is the field that's produced from a coil of wire. All right, so you have a coil of wire, and this will make sense in a second. I'll show you the ones that I built. In fact, I'll do that right now. This is, let me go back to, oops. Let me go back to the main, just so we can make sure. Okay, everyone should be able to see me big now. This is the first one I built. I am trying to be able to see myself now. Okay, here we go. This is the first one I built, and I used, I don't know, some 18 gauge speaker wire that I split. It worked fine. I think the speaker wire was like gallium or something like that. It was not a good speaker wire, but it wasn't like copper. Copper works better. But either way, even this one, you can see how crappily it's made and attached. It still worked. It worked fine. All right. After some time, I made one like this. This is magnetic wire. I think this gauge is 28 gauge. That's a little bit thin. I would use 24 gauge magnetic wire if you want to make the best one possible, something like that, 24, 22 gauge. And here, I'll just show you. That little spark gap right there that you saw light up, that's the pulse. And this coil right here is what gives us that donut shape that I was just showing. And if you think about the stun gun as a high voltage power supply, we're talking about 3 components. And 2 of the components we can get from the wire itself, the spark gap and the coil. So you can, if you find a high voltage power supply, again, over 2,000, 3,000 volts, you can do this with anything, potentially. You make this EMP. There's a lot of ideas out there of things that people have done. But I can't recommend anything besides what I've done, what I know works. And that stun gun works very well. And the car ignition coil high voltage power supply works very, very well. Those high voltage car coil ignition supplies, you can do a lot with those. You can make all sorts of devices and machines that create the bigger pulsed electromagnetic fields that can really help you detox. So if you're handy, I highly recommend you build that. Okay, so we're getting back into the presentation, which is almost done. That's the shape I was just talking about that comes from the coil, that donut shape. James Shin, I would be remiss not to bring this up. I always bring this up because I want to get a hold of James Shin. He's the one that actually figured out how to make that really easy EMP using a stun gun. I went ahead and I mirrored his video. It wasn't actually even his anymore. His channel got taken down, or he deactivated. I don't know. I found it on another targeted person's channel. It was literally the last video up on the internet of it, and I took that and I mirrored it. And you can go to Onionhead Andrew on Rumble and look at James Shin as he shows you what I just talked about. So if anyone knows how to reach out to him or where he's at, please let me know. I would love to have a conversation with him and see what he's been up to. James Shin is missing, though. I've been asking people to find him for a long time now. Michael Trapala, he figured out how to make pulsed electromagnetic fields, and the pulsed electromagnetic fields he was using was also deactivating implants. All right, so this was about, I think, 5 years ago he was operating, and about, 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, he died. He was, I believe, murdered, poisoned. We can talk about that in the Q&A if you want. But he was right on the border of Brownsville, and I can't remember the Mexican town that's just on the other side. This is in Texas, Mexico area. And what he was doing is he was treating people that were targeted, or people that had, quote, Morgellons. And the reason I say, quote, Morgellons is because Morgellons is nanomachinery. It might be the slightly more archaic form, or it might be the nanomachinery with additives. And that's what I believe personally. And I have a lot of evidence to prove that, but I don't have 100% proof of that claim. But anyways, what he was doing is he had built a giant coil, like a coil the size of a garbage can, and a little bit bigger than that actually. And you would lay down inside of it as this 30, 40, 50,000 volts would go around the coil that you were insulated from. So no one ever got shocked or anything like that. And he would pulse those electromagnetic fields. And like I said, it would do all those things. It would deactivate the implants, and it would detox the nanomachinery. And Michael Trapala got a bad rap a little bit back in the day, a little bit, not all the people, but because when people were leaving his treatment facilities, they were being targeted, people particularly, were being hit with more implants, and we're being chemtrailed more, we're having smart dust and smart filaments, all those things that grow nanomachinery, put into their food, during break-ins, that type of thing. So after a few weeks, they would be more injured than when they had come into Michael Trapala to get the treatment. But that was not Michael Trapala's fault. That was the greater thing happening that most people aren't understanding, which is to say the nanomachinery is interacting with the implants, which is interacting with the directed energy weapons. And then some people do understand all that, but then don't understand the operators on the ground. And you I guess maybe we should have a week about that too, about who these operators really are most of the time. But most people don't really have an understanding of all the elements needed to treat themselves. And that's why I started doing this call, is to explain this to people, because I realized I was trying forever just to build a machine that would do all of it, and people wouldn't have to be educated about it. But as I moved forward and forward and forward, dealing with the contractors in my area attacking me, I realized that wasn't a possibility, that people were going to need to know the full picture so that they could figure out whatever solution they needed at whatever time. Anyways, moving forward, Michael Trapala was a great man. He did a lot for the community. A lot of what I know today is based off of what he figured out. So God rest his soul. He did a lot of good. So what are these pulsed electromagnetic fields I keep talking about? Well, they are the future of healthcare. The pulsed electromagnetic fields, they detox nanomachinery quicker than anything. I built one in particular I'm pretty proud of. I can't figure out how to make it safe for the general public, but what you do is you wire a sheet of aluminum into a car ignition coil with a spark gap, and there's a video of the car ignition coil high voltage power supply and me putting it into a fan. It's more or less the same idea as putting it into a fan. But anyways, I put this one into a sheet of metal, and then I insulated that with 2 thick rubber mats, about 4 inches, 6 inches thick, something like that. And I sleep on that. And I'm insulated from the electricity perfectly. So I'm not afraid of getting shocked. I've never been shocked significantly, just a little bit here and there. But you're going to get that when you're making your own machines and stuff. And I sleep on that every night, and it's fantastic. It does so much breaking apart these nanomachinery arrays that get built in my body because of this crap that I'm breathing. So if you are handy, definitely start messing around with those car ignition coils. It literally endless, the potential. Like I was saying a second ago, I wired one of them into a fan, and that fan actually, it's a rotary spark gap, right, at that point, because the fan's spinning, and it's got either side, it would be a spark of the blade as it spins. It's kind of hard to describe without seeing it, but I've got a video of it. Either way, when that thing spins, it produces the field in about a 10 to 15 foot radius. So it demagnetizes you and detoxes the nano just being 10 to 15 feet around it. So obviously the closer the better, the stronger it is. But you're 10 feet away from it, something like that, it's still going to detox the nano. It's not going to deactivate the implants. The implants need to have that wire arranged in the coil to make that shape that I showed you earlier. So please don't get confused on that. And if you do, we're going to be open on questions here in a second. And finally, I see Michael Tripala's giant coil idea being remade by biomedical companies all over the world. If you put in pulse PEMFs in Google right now, PEMFs machine, so pulsed electromagnetic field machine, you'll see what I'm talking about. People are building coils a little bit smaller and laying down and moving these coils on these rails back and forth over people's body. One of those machines I saw, it was going for like 25 grand or something, and it was being made in Germany. Michael Tripala did it before them using, a few $100s worth of equipment and was treating people for a few $100s a time. So just to show you how far ahead he was and why those people poisoned him and killed him. All right, so that's the end of the presentation that I had ready. Right now, we're just going to open up and we're going to do some Q&As and see what people are thinking about. So if anybody got any questions, I will unmute. And you go ahead and ask and try to be orderly about it.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
This is Alex. Can you show me the back of your stun gun so I can get like a screenshot of it too? I just wanted to see the whole thing, just make sure.
Yeah, definitely. This is the back.
Just looked like something simple.
Yeah, the back is just a piece of wood.
Yeah.
This is the front. And,
okay.
To get back to the stun gun, the best ones to get are these ones with the toggle switch.
True.
Okay? Because if you get a push button one, stun gun, if you get a push button one, it could burn out pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I got a question.
Okay, the man first, and then go ahead.
The wire you're using, it is insulated wire for the stun gun, or for the EMP, or you use uninsulated wire?
Well, you can see in this one, this is magnetic wire. That's got insulation. It's enamel insulation. All right.
Yeah.
Very effective. All right. Less effective, but will still work, is this insulated regular braided wire. And this is 18 gauge, but the best gauge for this, generally speaking, is 20 to 24.
Yeah, I'm to a point where I could add the wire, but I can't find the insulated wire. All I have is 20. I have like 20 gauge uninsulated wire, just open copper wire. And I was wondering if
okay,
that
don't use that. Don't use that. Yeah. Because when you put it, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
It needs to flow through the coil and then go to the spark gap.
Now I got an extension cord that I cut up. It's stranded wire with insulation on it. Will that work?
Say that again.
I have an old extension cord that I cut up, and it's insulation, but it's stranded copper wire.
Yeah, that will work. Yes, that will work.
But
definitely.
it's thick. It has thick insulation on it, so I guess it doesn't matter about the thickness. I can't. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm on a farm in Arkansas, so it takes me like a week for Amazon to ship here. That's the only thing. And I'm leaving on Tuesday. And I've been to, so I'm just going to temporarily, I'll get the magnetic wire eventually with the insulation on it. And also I've been to Costa Rica, and I didn't go to Nicaragua, but I heard Nicaragua was there was no targeting there at one time. But I went to Belize. I was in the jungle of Belize, and I was hit with radiation in Belize too. And I was hit pretty bad in Costa Rica too.
Okay, just to finish up on that, on the wire, use what you got, and you'll be surprised. You might be able to get something to work. Hold on one second, right. Charlie. I'm going to mute everybody, and I'm going to bring you back. All right, and then as far as what you're talking about with Costa Rica and Belize and everything, if you could have, it's too bad we can't go back to those places in a time machine together, because if you could have looked closely, you would have noticed the contractors following you around.
Oh, I know, they were.
Okay, good, you saw them. Yeah.
I get hit with constantly, because I have a radiation detector. I have 2 radiation detectors. And I remember coming across the bridge, and this guy's like pointing something at me as this is in Costa Rica. And the radiation detector just goes off. You know, he pulled the motorcycle around, he went in the other direction. He was waiting for me to come over the bridge. And once I passed him, the radiation detector died. So, and I had cops hitting me with radiation.
Yeah.
You know, I've been as far as Lebanon. I've been to Turkey, Lebanon. Where else have I been? Costa Rica, Belize. I've been Uruguay, and I've been to Chile. Chile was pretty bad. You know,
that's not surprising with their military fascist background. Their government.
Oh, really?
And they had
I had cops following me around when I was walking in Santiago.
Well, so
you know, like waved to them. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Bolivia, it was a completely different apparatus than it was in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, it was U.S., Costa Ricans, American military, Costa Ricans, and Israeli military, which is to say, like your average Israeli. Now, again, no offense to Jews. This is about Israelis, not Jews. But they were all working in tandem. And then when I was in Bolivia, it was the Bolivians, a few, not a lot, the Mennonites, weirdly enough, and the Chinese.
The Chinese, wow.
Yeah, and then later the Israelis. So we're in the one world order system right now. It's already happened.
Yeah, I've been into like the jungle in Belize. I was there like 6 months ago in Belize. So I was in the jungle and I stayed at some Airbnb. I mean, on this like pineapple plantation, and you know, they were still hitting me even there, you know. But there were other like housing units around me on that plantation. I was trying to get away from everyone, you know, and I couldn't get. You know, I couldn't find a place, you know. And I'm over here. I'm on a farm here in Arkansas. I'm about to leave, and they're here. You know, I know that the one perps over here, you know, they're like another unit over, but and they've broken in. I just had a break in. And you believe they have cloaking devices, don't you? You believe
yes, that's what I was going to talk to you about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like maybe 20, 30 yards visiting the cows over here, and they broke in, and I didn't even see them. You know, and so I have a heat gun. Yeah, I have a heat gun, infrared gun, and I've tried to use that to keep them because I can't see them. So now that infrared gun, I don't know if it'll pick that up, their heat, you know.
I think you have a very high chance of, but hey, I've heard of people actually finding them in real time and very bad things coming of it. So, and I'm just throwing this out here, the better thing to do would be you can build these, I got them on the Rumble channel as DIY copper fan spinning scalar, something like that. There's like 3 different videos up about the same thing. But either way, when you spin copper from a fan, especially like a ceiling fan, what it will do is the particles in the air will fall down to the air instead of staying suspended. And when that happens, they don't like to run their cloaks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've been doing that for years now. I haven't had cloaking issues in years.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, they're running in my apartment. I was like 10 feet away from there, and they'd be in my apartment and out, you know.
Well, I've heard horror stories of women being in their house, or lots of them actually, and these people breaking in and being, you know, right there, and their dog's freaking out, and then later them waking up and, you know, having evidence of their bodies being hurt. So this is a very, very serious thing for every target. If you're going to be in an area where you think you got break-ins, you've got evidence of it, or even if you don't be afraid to barricade yourself in at night if you don't have any means of defense besides that. I've done that so much. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and I have like multiple temporary locks on the doors, but they find their way in maybe through the windows or, this place. I don't know how you get in, but I have like tape. I just need evidence that they've broken in. Like I put tape on the windows so I can always have evidence so I can call the cops. I just need to file a report. But
when
I appreciate.
I appreciate you talking, Charlie. When they break in, they're also a lot of the times putting cameras up too. So it's like, how do they know I did this? How do they know I do that? Remote neural monitoring. They're reading my thoughts. It's like, yes, a little bit, of course. Yes, that's part of it. But it's like these older technologies they're using more effectively, like cameras.
Oh, yeah. I got one more question. Now, if I'm in the house with my family and I'm getting hit with radiation, does my family get the radiation also? Do they get exposed?
Well, when you're in your house with your family, the radiation is being directed specifically at you, usually in either a cone or a beam. I'm not the one that knows most about that, but the other thing that's happening is the aerosols, and that's what's happening to everyone around you. When they're releasing aerosols, you're all breathing it, and that's usually what's going on. You probably noticed drafts.
I got another incident here. It was like one early afternoon or evening. I hear a helicopter and go in. The sound goes in and out, in and out. So the helicopter's going out and back, forth, right? And I thought that he were hitting me with some kind of radiation, right? Turn on the weather radar to hit me with radiation. But in fact, you probably said that they probably hitting me with the particles, right?
It's probably both at the same time. It was probably both at the same time.
They're probably doing that too, yeah. And then I walk outside and the helicopter comes straight at me, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. But he was doing it for a good 10, 15 minutes, because I'm just like watching TV and I just hear this helicopter and I go, God damn it. So these are cowards,
Using dude, it's like they are, but also it's like these people are gone. A lot of these people are just mentally gone. They're just totally checked out. And they just don't care one way or the other. It's sociopath, psychopath,
I know.
Whatever you want to call it. I've met so many of these people.
So another time, when I first realized I was getting radiation, right, it was just targeting in the beginning. And I happened to rent a house. Literally, I could see the runway on Air Force Base in Vegas. And all of a sudden, they started buzzing my house. They would do all day long. They would buzz the house. All these type of aircraft. All day Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, so I want to jump in here because this is really relevant for everybody. That buzzing that you were hearing, that's the weapon system, as I think acoustic, I'm not for sure. But anyways, it's literally driving the particulate into your breezeways. The best way to tell that this is happening is feeling that vibration throughout your house and then noticing the draft. If you've got that vibration, like if it literally, you can hear your windows vibrating and then there's a draft, that's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, really? But it was aircraft, because I'm right down the street from the Air Force Base,
And that's Sorry for interrupting you.
Then I got out of there. For my lease, I was in North Las Vegas, and then I got out of there, thank God, because, they were killing me with radiation there. So that's about it. I appreciate that.
Thanks for talking, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks. All right. You can somebody else's question.
Okay.
I had a couple questions really quick.
Okay.
If I could.
Yeah.
You said on the PEMF that we should be looking at like 20,000 to 50,000 volts. Is that right?
Yep.
How many amps?
The amps, I believe, I think the amps are, I don't have the equipment.
Isn't it always half? Volts and amps are half?
Yeah, that's currents and amperage. current is voltage and amperage is, or I got that backwards. But either way, what I meant by that is what I know personally, and that's those car ignition coils. So if I had to guess, I would imagine the amperage wouldn't be very high. I think like an amp or 2 amps or something like that. But I don't have the equipment to verify that. But I think it's right around there.
It's pretty low. Voltage low.
And then
you need low amps because one amp could actually kill you. So you want to get at least 1 or less amps because then you're
maybe something in the milliamp.
Possibly, actually, if you get shocked with it, it could kill you. You get a higher amp.
And that's
true. The
true.
going to kill you is amps that'll kill you.
Yeah, the high voltage power supply using the car ignition coil can be deadly. All right, so that's why I said if you're handy, mess around with it. Because if you end up becoming the ground for that, then yes, and it goes across your heart, it could very much hurt you. So, be very careful.
And also, I'm kind of new to science, unfortunately. Could you explain what you mean when you say you're using the copper coil as the spark gap? Could you show and explain what you mean? Is that really only basically 2 parts, a coil and a stun gun?
Yeah, more or less. The spark gap, it's right here. There's a little space. One of these electrodes is connected to one side of the wire. Then I wrap it around. And then there's a space here. I'll fire it off real quick.
Oh.
Yep, that's it. That's the
insulated copper coil. That's it?
That's it.
Because I have a stun gun.
You could do it right now.
Tonight.
Yeah.
What?
So the other trick to it is that you want to keep these at the same plane, and you'll figure this out just by doing it. But the wire and the electrodes, and then I used hot glue, but you could just use tape, and then I used a stick to connect it all together. Cool. But you can use a spatula. I know somebody that used a spatula.
Interesting. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Who's up next? Anybody wants to?
You just connect one prong and then you leave a gap on the second one?
Yes, you connect this on this one. I've connected this side, and then I glued that side. I wrapped it around the stripped wire at the end, and then on this side there's just a gap.
Okay.
And the gap is about a 1/4 inch, less than a 1/4 inch.
And then on that James Shin video, that when he did it, he was touching it with himself. Do you not touch it with yourself, or you just put it around you?
You can, if the wire is insulated, which it has to be, you can touch yourself with it.
Okay.
Just keep the spark gap away from you. It's the spark gap that will shock you.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Why does the copper need to be insulated? Could you explain that for a sec?
Because it will short circuit. It won't be able, so the energy is flowing through the coil in sequential fashion. So it's coming, this is not really how it works, but it's coming from here where it's on the electrode, then it's going around to the spark gap. And if these wires are, if they're uninsulated, then the spark will just short circuit between it before it gets to the spark gap to complete the circuit.
Because I tried wrapping, so that's why you see sparks on the copper if you just connect the taser to uninsulated copper?
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and then back to the car ignition coil, you can build the same exact thing with the car ignition coil. It's just you need to be extra careful that you don't become the ground. That's the main thing. And I would say, definitely do what's easier first, what you feel comfortable with. But if anyone's handy here, get into that car ignition coil high voltage power supply. Because like I said, you can build a $20,000 machine for a few $100s and have this to sleep on or put it in a fan and produce these fields. And it's literally the future. I mean, these elites and stuff, I was wondering how they were, going to get around the nanotech and everything. This has got to be the answer. I think this is what they're using when they get sick with the nanotech to keep it all in check and whatnot.
Really, it's not the future, it's the past. It's the past that's been ripped apart, buried, and kept secret from them.
100%. You're 100% right. It's being rediscovered publicly right now, and has been for a while.
Yep, for the last 100 years, space tech, field energy healing, it all keeps getting rediscovered and reburied. It's sad.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Andrew, I watched your video, the high voltage video. What's the significance of the dimmer switch?
The dimmer switch creates the waveform that the car ignition coil can utilize. Without the dimmer switch, the car ignition coil cannot utilize the alternating current that powers your house. It could utilize, however, direct voltage from, say, I don't know, a car ignition coil, car battery, wow, or any 12-volt source, really, that's strong enough to power it. But because our houses are powered with AC, the dimmer switch takes that AC and puts it into a clipped waveform, and that clipped waveform can drive the car ignition coil like direct voltage, like a DC, direct current. Excuse me.
So how is it going to affect us over here? Because you're 110 over there, and we're 240 over here.
We're 110, 240. So you should be able to use the dimmer switch also. The main thing with the dimmer switch is, to make the right waveform, is that you need to submerge it in oil. The submerging it in oil will insulate the electrical components within it, and it shouldn't burn up. But if it burns up, then you're gonna have to experiment a little bit. I'm only going off what I got, and I've only learned what I've had to.
Right. So is the switch on, or is it semi-on?
It's on and open a little bit. So
Okay.
It's not fully open. Like, just say half would be fine. Or even less than half would be fine.
I do like the idea of the garbage can, and then you could sit inside the garbage can, right? You wrap the wire around the garbage can, right? And you could just, you can do your whole body, right? EMP your whole body on the garbage can.
Yeah, and that could create some really, really good effects if you were insulated from it. There's a lot of people that have got, as targeted people and not targeted people, that have been exposed to lightning strikes close enough where the air insulated them from it, but they still felt the effects of the lightning strike upon their body, and they received these ridiculous, massive healing benefits from it. And I think what happens is it resets the inner structures of the cell. Reset's not the right word. It's got something to do with the DNA and how it expresses. But I don't know anything more than that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of potential in it.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I know personally of a target who was near a lightning strike, and he was completely insulated from it, hit his car, and when he woke up that morning, he was more or less had no symptoms. Nothing. It had deactivated the implants, had detoxed the nano, all in a second. And he slept through it, didn't even feel it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get a plastic garbage can and wrap the wire around it and somehow, get electrical current through it.
Yeah, stay tuned, because I've got a lot of ideas. And as more of you, start experimenting with what we're talking about today, you're all going to have great ideas too. And this thing is going to snowball very, very quickly. Just like yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just getting back to my travels when I was in Lebanon, and I was walking, and this like black SUV pulls up behind me, hits me with the radiation. And I think it was coming from the embassy. I think these guys were like embassy people that came out and hit me. I tried to get to like an anti-friendly U.S. country. Maybe they wouldn't attack me, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, that's why I went to Nicaragua. And for the first 2.5 months in Nicaragua, the people that were targeting me were on vacation, so they couldn't really utilize the local forces to do anything to me. It wasn't until the Israelis came in a huge amount of numbers, along with dual and trinationals. It wasn't just the Israelis. There were like American, Chinese, Israelis, and then all the NATO countries that came there through NGOs as covers. They bought out the local government and the Nicaraguan federal government. It wasn't until that point that I really started feeling the heat of being targeted. But that was when chemtrails appeared after they made those deals. And I know what deals they made because it was in the news later. The Israelis made deals with the Ortega family, the sons of Ortega. And later on, the sons of Ortega were like, hey, U.S., we had deals that you would give us certain trade rights again for this opening up, whatever, that they didn't disclose what the opening up was. And this was 4 months after I left Nicaragua. It was 100% about my travels there. Not about me, but about them using me as the building the human trafficking network there. They had to make those deals with the federal government. And like I said, I saw it. It was crazy. I saw it all in real time. A whole town turned to human trafficking in the span of a few weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Grenada. Yeah. I saw a whole town get corrupted like that.
I drove from like the north part of Costa Rica all the way down to the south part, and they were following me and see me all the way down. But, it's kind of interesting.
Well, to this day, if you want a place to go, Nicaragua's still probably got less of it than anywhere else, but it's got it. It's got it now, 100%.
It's got it now.
These people will follow you to the end of the earth, because there's always some guy or a woman with a military background or one of these deep state family types, and there's even the satanic types in there too, that have nothing better to do than ruin your life or try to. Like literally.
I know they sit next to me on the plane. They've been, and I've been harassed by the flight attendants and Delta and American, and they're all part of it too. It's just it's very, very tough.
Okay, hey Charlie.
The capacitor coils. Now you want them? Can I put one around my head? Will it hurt? I have one on my arm, my left side. You said the left side is the best way to wear the capacitor coils, right? The left arm and the left leg, right?
Yeah, it's the yes. You will get the most out of it actually wearing the coiled wire around your torso. You'll get the most out of wearing capacitor inductors, which we're going to cover next week. I'm going to show people more about.
All right.
Thanks.
Hello?
Yeah, hey.
Hello?
Okay.
Hi.
You first. And
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hi. My name is AJ, and I live in New York. My targeting has been, I believe, with the use mostly of the, the implants.
Uh-huh.
However, it's not just limited, but the implants, there is very heavy use of the, technology, wireless body area network technology.
Yeah.
And you mentioned satanic. It is so much from a woman of God. They use a lot of witchcraft in this program. And just as I'm speaking of this, I'm hearing them give the signals with the horn blowing and all of this stuff, because I'm very highly surveyed. Right now I'm in my home. I usually stay in the home, and they use my smart meter.
Mm-hmm.
They use other things like my appliances to connect me with. I haven't had a computer and a real phone in years now, because I reported everybody used video. I put it on YouTube. That is still, I believe, to this day, still on YouTube, but I have no access to it. They stole everything that I had. So what I do is to help with the the torture that they try to do to me is definitely pray. I am definitely a woman of God, and I use copper. Sometimes I use different things. I turn off the power. Now, with what they've done with me turning off the power, that was working really great. They're using the, I don't know if you have any suggestions, but they're using the, what do you call the things that you put on the tops of the house for energy?
Antennas?
Solar panels.
Oh, okay, solar panels.
Right. However, I discovered that they're not stable. Like, they don't give like a stable energy. Anything like it doesn't stay stable. So sometimes I'm able to disconnect myself from whatever they're doing. I don't know a lot of the technology, but I sure enough know a lot of the things that they do. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times I can stop it through tweaking with different things in my home.
Yeah. So okay. So you said a lot, AJ. You said a lot. The electricity flowing through your house that's weaponized against you is making you magnetic. All right. It's called that. That's what that dirty electricity does. It makes you magnetic. And when you're magnetic, another way to say it is you're acidic. All right. And when you're acidic, these directed energy weapons work more effectively because the nano is resonating more strongly with the weapon system. All right. So you've got this nanomachinery growing in you, and it's growing from implant to implant. And when you have that electricity, that dirty electricity exposed to it, that nanomachinery is like a backdrop or a backstop. That's a better way to think about it. Like a backstop, and it's catching all this frequency, and it's charging you up magnetically. And then the directed energy weapons are pulsing that magnetic charge over your body. So you've got this magnetic charge in your body and the nanomachinery and the implants. And then the directed energy weapons are pulsing it. And they're aiming those pulses to different parts of your body. So the best thing you could do for yourself is building the stun gun EMP, number one. And then number two, looking at starting to wear wire and building capacitors, which it's on the Onion Head Andrew Rumble. We're going to go over it next week too, how to build these electrical components that you can wear. Thank you for sharing, AJ. And just real quick, this isn't anything particularly at anyone, but as survivors, like all of us are here, we've all been through hell. And it's been a long time for a lot of us. You know, a very long time. I can't even remember what it was like to live regular anymore. When we're sharing, let's try not to traumatize each other, because there's so much. I mean, geez, I've got horror stories. You know, we all have horror stories. But do you have anything else you want to say, AJ?
Oh, no, well, this is my first time tuning in. I heard about you through a friend, but I just decided to go to TI events, and I looked you up, and I said, I usually miss the calls, but I said, I'm going to try and listen in on him. But I think I'll try listening again next week.
Okay, very good. And then Onion Head Andrew on Rumble has got a bunch of videos that could really, really help you.
I have no access to it. I bought an iPad like 2 years ago, just hooked it up this year, and they have access to every single thing, and I can't get on any social media.
I wonder if you could ask one of your neighbors if you could buy Wi-Fi off them.
They're the culprits.
All your neighbors?
Yes. It's okay,
well, it makes sense because they move. If you're in the same spot for too long, they move in here.
Oh yeah. I've been here for over 20 years.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Yes.
Well, hey,
but thank you.
No, thank you for conversating. If you want my email, and you can ask more questions to me directly. And this goes for every. I'll put it right now in the chat. It's
I can't see the chat.
Okay, it's A.
Okay.
C
You
O.
said A
Yep.
C O
L
L
E
E
9689
9689
at hotmail.com.
at hotmail.com. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi,
God bless.
Onion Head.
Hi.
Can you
Hi.
repeat the email? Can you repeat your email?
Yeah, real quick. It's ACOLE 9689 at hotmail.com. And it's also listed below every video on Onion Head Andrew Rumble.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi, yes, I was nice lady. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. You know about the fan, using the fan. As far as constructing it, is it okay if you put like some kind of tape over the entire length of the copper wire, raw copper wire, or is that going to slow down the effectiveness? You know,
No,
it's a fast and easy way to attach it kind of securely. To just do it over the whole length of the copper that you put on the fan blade.
You can do it over the full length of the blade, but what you might find is that the centrifugal force of it spinning might throw it. What I like doing, which will guarantee success, is using glue, hot glue, and double-sided mounting tape. If you use just a few pieces of double-sided mounting tape and then hot glue over the top of it, it makes like a near perfect seal. I've only had a few of them ever fall apart when I've done that. But if you just experiment, you'll get it too. The best thing to do is putting them on ceiling fans. If you have ceiling fans, get all your ceiling fans converted immediately and just run those things 24/7. It's such a benefit to your body and your health.
Are you converting something on the ceiling fan?
What you do is you take copper wire and you twist it together like 2 or 3 strands, and then you glue it. And that's what I was saying, glue and mounting tape is the best. You put it on the back side of the ceiling fans, or you can put it on a box fan or any fan for that matter. And when that copper spins, once it's been twisted, it creates this demagnetizing effect for the general area. Right, there's a reason for that. It's got to do with etheric physics, like one of the other callers was talking about before. It's been around for 100 years. This is just another application of it. It's the science is, it's going to sound really woo-woo, but it definitely works. And it's going to take a while for me to explain it. Go ahead.
You're just putting like a pair of copper wire along the length of the blades of the fan?
Yeah. If you go on, sorry for being a broken record, the Onion Head Andrew Rumble, there's a workshop where I made it with a group of people. And it will have it exactly how I did it. And you'll see it, Neil. You'll get it so quick.
Right on. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's not a cure-all, be-all, but it very much helps. Go ahead.
I'm going to listen again because just my phone dropped naturally, and then I got back on. But I'm going to listen to what you said because if you were still answering the one question about using tape, and then you said what you do instead. So I'll listen again. You said just using a little the double-sided sticky tape and glue stick.
Yeah, and hot glue. Yep, that makes the best hold by far.
Okay. Thank you. And by the way, is this a method that's going to help with the aerosols that you still fight? Will it help with all of that too?
Yes, 100%. You don't have to be breathing the wind produced by it. But what happens is when you spin copper like that, it demagnetizes those particles too. Not only your body, but those particles. And instead of the particles, because they're lighter than air, floating, they start falling to the ground.
And then what do you do with them on the ground? What do you do then? You just don't worry about it right now.
Yeah, one thing at a time. Sweep it up, clean as
Right.
best as you can. Degreasers on your floors is the best way to pick it up, but it's not great, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm not as concerned about that. But I wanted to say you're talking about things when they come into the house. I've actually smelled some fragrant smells, and then
Yes.
some very, very nice, attractive. And then in one room, the first thing was a very dusty, metallic, some kind of dusty, metallic smell in one bedroom that I was using. And then when I didn't go into that anymore, then I got these nice, floral smells in another room. Is that likely?
Yeah, no.
And then I've been planes
Great.
over all the time, planes, helicopters, and everything. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, hold on. The first thing, I didn't quite catch the second thing, but the first thing was they're using different scents to cover up the aerosols. So if you notice something completely out of place, like you just talked about, like a perfume smell, it's probably because they're trying to mimic a perfume that you use, and it's just like, I didn't spray that. Or maybe Febreze, or a shampoo, or anything. Really, they like for here, they used to use garlic salt a lot, the smell of garlic salt to cover the aerosol. Now, what are they doing recently? I can't remember. I don't think they're even trying really, because they're just thinning it out and dumping as much of it as possible, so they don't have to smell. Oh, they're using skunk. Duh. They use skunk smell because they also released a skunk near my yard, so they've got cover for it. Yeah.
They love using bleach smell for me.
Yep.
So one
That's
more
great.
question.
Uh-huh.
As far as the structures, I always forget what they're called, but you talked about deactivating them, and I need to get equipment to do that, or get the parts to do that ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
But also, is there any natural, foods or herbs or anything? You talked about having a less acidic body, but just towards having a less acidic body, or just deactivating to some degree. Is there any food or herb that might be helpful?
Yeah, there's so many food and herbs. The better way of thinking about it is look up the alkaline diet. That's alkaline and diet, and that's Dr. Robert Young. If you look up what he teaches on his website, drrobertyoung.com, you can get a really good idea of a whole plethora of foods that you can eat, herbs and vegetables and whatnot. But that being said, if you don't deactivate those implants and you aren't wearing electrical components, which is just depends how much you're being targeted. But if you don't deactivate those implants, when you detox nano, which is what you do when you eat alkaline, it'll all come back very quickly. But I spent years, I literally spent years only eating raw vegetables. And that's actually why the onion head moniker is, why I took that on. One of the reasons is because there was a time when I could get fresh onions and fresh garlic and all that type of thing. And I would just eat that stuff, so much of it, an incredible amount of it. And most of my symptoms would go away just from the vegetables, even with the implants. But it would all come back very quickly. So I'd only eat raw vegetables, and I got very thin. Very strong, though, but very thin.
Okay, thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Robert Young. He's actually targeted because of that, for inventing that diet.
Is he out of prison yet?
I don't think so. I'm not sure, though. Yeah, he's
Andrew.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when it comes to twisting the copper wire, what do you think about twisting the wire, okay, and then getting another pieces of wire that you've twisted in the opposite direction and putting it between the other two, so that you've got two pieces of copper wire, one twisted in one direction and one twisted in another direction? I've heard that is effective.
It probably is. The defining thing about twisting the wire together is you're putting the copper under compression. So the more copper you can squeeze together, The tighter you can get it, the more effective it's going to be. And it's basically when it's twisted like that under compression, it produces all these little toroidal fields. And then you spin it up, it produces a bigger toroidal field. So the more compression, the tighter you can twist it, and the more copper you can twist, the more effective your fan's going to be. But there comes to be a point where the motor can't handle it. You lose speed. So.
Well, I tell you, I had, an induction grill, and it broke down, and I ended up stripping it down, and it's got in it perfectly coiled copper wire with 2 terminals on it, and I stripped it apart, and I thought, I could have used that. And it's on it's backed with like a carbon, so it's like perfectly coiled with the terminals, which would have made it perfect for a spark gap. And it's got insulation up as well. And it was in, an induction thing, induction cooker.
Yeah, I know. I stripped one myself. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So do you think that's useful? That would be useful, that component, because it's perfectly formed already. So do you think something like that?
It is perfectly formed, but I don't think it's insulated. So you'd have some short-circuiting issues if you used it with like a stun gun or a car ignition coil or something like that to make the EMP. But you could use... Yeah, go ahead.
This one, all the copper wire was in a groove, like an LP. It had a groove, so it didn't touch anything other than like one surface. So I was thinking, if you could insulate one surface, none of that wire was touching each other, even though it was naked wire. But it wasn't a very thick grade of wire, but it was still copper, and I just thought, that was perfect. I wish I hadn't have pulled that apart to use.
I would have to, I'd have to see yours particularly, but the shape, this is like a soup can, the diameter of a soup can, and the wire, it's more effective when it's stacked on each other as best as you can to make that donut shape, that toroidal shape, because it's that coil, that tight coil, that directs the field. Without that tight, go ahead.
So would you be able to mix the two then? Put one in like a spiral and then do a donut shape thing over the spiral. Would that be useful?
I wouldn't. It just for what with the EMP, just having the ring shape. The ring shape is probably going to be the most effective. But when you're talking about pulsed electromagnetic fields for healing, like I was saying, like something that you'd sit on or something insulated, of course, then talking about spirals makes a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons. Anybody got any questions? Because we can open this up and we can do open.
Can I just suggest something? You were saying earlier on that people have got some really terrifying stories that trigger, and I always think that I've got some so funny stories about being targeted that it would be nice to have a program. I don't know if anybody else has like silly stories about walking around with silver foil stuck on your head because I've forgotten it's there, and I'm walking around out in public, and all sorts of silly stories that are fun. So I just thought that might be a good theme for a show rather than the bad stories, some of the funny stories.
That's a fantastic idea. That's a great idea, and there's somebody I know that would be interested in starting a call like that. So I'll pass that on. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you for the suggestion. I will pass that on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Hold on a second. Go ahead and talk again.
My number is 720.
No, you don't have to say it, but no, I can't see you. We can hear you though.
Okay, I can see you, and
I don't know why you can't see me, but I'm on free conference call, and I have all my supplies together. My stun gun showed up, and I have glue, wire, a ruler, and some cardboard. And I thought that we were going to do a workshop. Are you still going to do a workshop?
Well, we can do a one-on-one. I was hoping more people would reach out, but we didn't have enough people. But let's. Okay. You have my email, right, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay, email me and we'll set it up for Monday, Tuesday. Me and you.
Okay. Is it Paul or?
Well, you'll email me and then we'll set it up over the internet or however it works for you.
The one that's not very internet savvy. I can see you, and so I'm not sure why you can't.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah. It's not that I can't help you. I very much can. It's that we've got all these other people here, but we can, when we do reconvene, you'll be able to, we'll figure it out. We'll do Zoom or something like that, whatever works, where I can see what you're doing and tell you, if that's right or wrong, that type of thing.
Because I'm very excited to do this project. So.
Yeah, we're gonna. You just reach out to me. You've got my email, and we'll do this very soon, Monday, Tuesday.
I have a couple other questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you sleep a certain direction, like north, south, or east, west?
No.
Do you recommend sleeping on the floor or up on a bed?
Not particularly. It depends what's going on in your environment.
Get away from the floors, generally better.
That's good advice.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, we'll talk soon.
The floor has, sometimes they put, well, in my home, there's electromagnetic fields on my floor. It reaches up to 1,000, so you should read the energy first.
That's good advice. That's good advice. A lot of the times, the electromagnetic reading, we're using microteslas. I think it's Beth that was just talking. Or were you using microteslas to measure that?
No, I don't know. I got this EMF meter on my phone because I bought 2 meters. Mm-hmm. One was measuring, I forgot the name of it, but one was measuring 3 electromagnetic fields, radio frequencies, and electrical frequencies, and the other one was measuring, oh my God, I forgot the name of it. But they came into my home and they messed them up, so I just got the one from the phone. But I'm used to this, so I don't. I can look at it right now.
Oh no, I think I've got you. I think they use those the cell phone microtesla.
It is the
yeah.
It is the Tesla. I looked at it right now.
So what I think is going on with a lot of those micro Tesla readings is that when they're releasing particulate in your environment and you put these cell phone readers up to it, if you're moving across magnetic particulate, you'll get these spikes in the reading.
Oh, so it's not accurate?
No. It is accurate. It's picking up magnetic effect of fields in your environment. But I think a lot of that is the magnetized particles that's being released. But it's also dirty electricity. It's also the directed energy weapons at different times.
And I turn off all my circuits. I turn off everything, and it's like downstairs from me. I hear a machine constantly under the bed, and the kitchen has the highest. The refrigerator has the highest electromagnetic field, so they have 4 I forgot before. You were talking about it before. I'm not too good with the terminology.
No, it's fine.
Oh, it has 4 amps. My refrigerator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the fields in that refrigerator is so high. Sometimes I just turn it off when I don't have too much food in there. But I'm about to get rid of it.
They definitely weaponize refrigerators to make that dirty electricity. And also, I think they use some magnetic particles that they move around the intercoolers to make the pops stuff. The big pops that your refrigerator sound will make.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you recommend moving if it's extreme? Do you recommend a person moving? I know they follow you everywhere. I already moved, and they followed me where I'm at right now.
I would say move where people you know and love are there. That's the only time I would move. If you can move with family or in with family or something like that, people that you can trust, that would be beneficial.
But my family doesn't believe me what I'm going through. And I used to unplug the refrigerator. They would get so angry because I would get muscle spasms.
Well, we are always safer. We are always safer around our loved ones. Almost always, I should say. I don't know every situation.
Yeah, because it's me and my daughter being targeted, but she's getting targeted severely because she's getting the MK Ultra, like her mind. It's like she's another person sometimes when they I don't know if she has implants. I don't know if I have implants. I want to do a scan to find out.
Yeah, no, definitely, Beth.
What do you suggest to know if we have implants?
I don't even go that route. There are people that offer services, and those services are inconclusive. They can't be held up in court. They're called nonlinear junction scans. They just mean that they found frequency in a certain spot. That could be for any reason, for anything. So I would recommend, if for you and your daughter, is to start moving through the paradigm. And in fact, if your daughter's a bit younger, then it really would benefit you greatly to move back in with family. And again, you would know better than me, but for your
25.
family. Okay.
25 years old. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. That's better. She's a little bit older. But deactivating the implants, number one. Building that stun gun EMB, getting her to do it, and then going again to Onion Head Andrew on Rumble and working your way through some of that content, the last 10 videos or something. This could help you and everyone else is targeted just about more than anything. And it's like getting those scans. I recognize, if we had a machine that could tell us exactly where the implants were and, how big they were and all that type of thing, that would be great. But that's not what's being offered. What's being offered is that a signal frequency finder. And I don't really see the value in finding signals on your body. It's not even, you can't hold it. It's not held up in court. Nobody will listen to it. You can't take it to a doctor. It means practically nothing besides that it happened, that they scanned you for signals and found them.
Oh, my priority was mainly for health, to get better. That's why I would have done the scan.
That's my experience too, of almost 10 years of conference calls. People who went to Columbia Investigation, Dr. Staniger, was a toxicologist. They paid a lot of money for all those tests, and it really never ended up doing them any good. Just do what Andrew's saying and focus on neutralizing everything you can. That's my opinion. 10 years of doing conference calls for TIs.
Thanks, Neil. I appreciate you backing me up on that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It really is important to move through this paradigm. And I'm really not exaggerating. When enough of us do this, some serious change is going to happen. It's going to be a very serious effect to the program here in the United States, but also around the world. This is the education that we need. Implants, nanotech, and then how to rapidly demagnetize when we're being hit with these primarily radio frequency microwave weapons in real time. It's those three things, when you do in combination, it gets these people terrified. And I'm not saying they're terrified of me, but they're terrified of this information, right? They've been all sorts of craziness since I started doing this. And even before it was crazy, but now it's like, they're threatening my life 24/7 because of this information. This is the real deal.
Andrew, it's Charlie again. I've been wearing that capacitor coils since the last time you were on here, and I could see the decrease in the radiation on my radiation detector. It's not as prevalent as it once was.
And once you combine that with deactivating implants, then you really get the benefit of it. Then you can start feeling the nanomachinery arrays in your body. And once you start feeling the nanomachinery arrays in your body, then you can start detoxing that, and you'll know exactly what's happening to you. And that's what they're afraid of. When enough people figure that out, I've got like 4 or 5 people I'm in contact right now that have figured it out, exactly what I just said. And they are flipping out, the contractors that are on them, because they have no long-term solution. All they have is moment-to-moment recalculations to try to get you back on the grid, resonating with their directed energy weapons.
In fact, this morning I had the best morning. I don't know how long. It barely went off this morning, and then it kind of picked up towards the afternoon. I don't know why. Maybe my criminal perp was away at the time. I don't know. So I could hopefully it was because of the coils. I'm hoping.
It could be could be so many things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to that V2K file that you had on your website, the one on YouTube. Even though I don't have the V2K, but I've been listening to that. Maybe disrupt the signal too.
Yeah, no, that V2K block, that was made by Blue Scales. That's SCALEZ on YouTube. What he did something magnificent for the community. He's targeted also. He found the exact frequency range that he was getting hit with, and what he did is he recorded it. And what he found is it was between 400 and 425 hertz that was coming in, and he thought it was triggering the implants in his head, right? Because that's what he was measuring, the frequency coming into his head. And I think he's right, but also what I think that frequency is it's one of the frequency bandwidths that resonate with the nanotech that I've been talking about. Because if it resonates with the implants, it's going to resonate with the nanotech behind it. Meaning that if you take that sound file and you use the vibrations produced from a speaker, you could potentially detox nano anywhere in your body with enough vibration at that 400, 425 hertz sound file. It's absolutely amazing. There's more to come from that very soon, right? I just broke through on that, like just a few days ago. Absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michael Chapala and I talked for about an hour, and he was using a specific, I think it was 2152 hertz to deal with the Morgellons, because that was one of the common frequencies that people were using with Rife machines. And we had Barry Trower on a conference call, years ago, and he was talking about by being able to match the resonant frequency, which is the same concept with a Rife machine, anything you can match the resonant frequency of will blow it to bits. And
so I think that 2100.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
I think that 2100 cycle, Neil, is the 425 in the fourth duplicity, or the fourth multiplication.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting, because it's relative to Morgellons.
Yeah, and Morgellons is just nanotech with extra things added.
Hey, I just wanted to add that there's an app you can download called the-app, and it has like 1,400 frequencies for healing, and one of them is for Morgellons.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Can you write it down in the chat for everyone?
Yes.
Like Victor.
And then, hey, check out that sound file that the Blue Scales put up. It's amazing.
Can you see me, Andrew?
Yes, we can see you.
Wow. How do you get in the chat?
It's at the bottom. Does anybody have any other questions?
I do, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What about PEMF mats?
Is that what is that?
Those are like the red light mats. Would those help?
Okay, so that's a great thing that you brought up. Incandescent red lights actually are way more powerful than the red light mats that you were just talking about. So you can get incandescent red lights from pet stores for reptiles. They're get the 150 watt one, and it's like a nighttime red light for reptiles. And what you do is when you shine that on you, it's got to be fairly close though, you'll get immediate relief of your symptoms. So it's just a tool you can use, but it's helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's incandescent, not the LEDs. Incandescent is key.
Andrew.
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Hi.
Have you done any check-in about on Jesse Beltran and John Kingston scans? Because those scans, they take a picture of you, your body, your whole person. Once he does the scan, he'll give you a printout of where these implants are in your body. So the scan does show you where the implants are. It shows you how much frequency is coming from these implants. That's also a visible semiconductor. So all those things you can see from the scans that these two people give you.
Yeah, well, so if you dive into My Nexus Live, their actual, or My Nexus, their actual website, their claim is not that they're finding implants. Their claim, as stated, is that they're finding signals. And they're implying that the signals are coming from implants.
Right. So if signals are coming from the implant, then the scan shows you where the implants are.
But they're not actually saying that there's implants. They're just saying there might be, but there's signals coming from there. That non-linear.
Yeah, because it will give you the amount of frequency. It gives you the RF coming from each one of those scans in your body. That's why I'm saying it is good for people to get that scan. At least they'll know where these implants are located on them.
Well, so that's $600. But when you start just you build the stun gun EMP and you start using it, as you continue using it, you'll feel where the implants were. You will know beyond a doubt. I mean, when I say these little things you're full of them, I mean, you're full of them. We're all full of them. Every target's full of these little implants. They're shot into us. I probably had, when I initially went through the deactivation, well, the first time was by accident. That's a longer story. When I purposely did it the second time, I probably had 40, 50 spots on me of these little things. And I've looked at the nonlinear junction scan paper reports from other targets, and it doesn't have 30 or 40, 50 marks. And I can literally feel them. And you can too if you go about EMPing the surface of your skin very, what's the right word? Carefully, number one, don't shock yourself. But number two, in a precise manner, like you cover every square inch of your body over a few days, you'll feel when they go to plug in, so to speak, to the implants, you'll feel the exact spot they are. Because once you deactivate the implant, the nanotech falls off from around it, and you can feel the precise the exact spot that they're irradiating with the directed energy weapon. It's no longer branching out through your body.
But see, you're talking about the frequency that comes from these things, right? Comes from the implants, but these scans are actually showing you where these implants are on you. And not only that, it's showing you the semiconductor that's being used to disperse this frequency throughout the body. So these things are visible when you get a scan. It's showing you exactly where these things are.
Yeah, but that's not what my Nexus is claiming. That might be what they're saying in person, but what they're legally claiming is that the nonlinear junction scan is just picking up signals, that they can neither confirm nor deny the presence of implants. That's their own literature. I was just looking at this the other day.
And then the one is recontamination. So you might clean yourself out, but we got to keep cleaning ourselves out because we're being recontaminated, right?
That's also very true, Neil. Yeah, when you break through and you start deactivating these implants, they will try to get them back into you. Very much so. Good point, Neil.
So, do you think that we should even bother to get the Havana syndrome diagnosis? Because I started to do that with Dr. Shichenko, and it's a series of all kinds of MRIs and everything. And what do you think? Do you think that we shouldn't bother with that also, or?
Okay, this is my personal opinion about all of this. Just my personal opinion. To each their own, number one. Number two, I believe in resiliency above all else. I do not like giving my power, not above all else, but it's one of the highest values I hold. I do not like giving my power to any institution, any person, anything like that. I would rather do it myself and do it to the best of my ability than wait or rely upon anyone else. So that's what I'm doing here with these calls. That's why it's been the last 10 years to get to this point. That's a gift from God that I'm able to speak to you all right now. And that's why I am speaking to you. Because I want you all
Some people are thinking they're going to have a lawsuit if they get the official Havana syndrome diagnosis. On the other hand, if they officially classify that as a mental illness, that's not going to be a good thing to have that diagnosis,
Well, hey, that's a really good point I never thought about. But what I was more referring to is that at the point of lawsuit, right, then you're relying upon another system we know is corrupt, another set of authorities we know have been corrupted, right? Like here locally, and I'm not going to get too far into this, but my family was exposed to targeting through the Clark County court system and all the people that work around there, the sheriffs, the judges, the lawyers. I'm not going to get too far into this, but they're all corrupt. And a lot of them are, and again, I'm not going to get too far into this, are pedophiles, and they're really, really bad people. And I just don't think that we should be trusting our authority to any of these people any longer. And with that being said, what I mean is that we should take our resiliency of what I'm talking about right now and move full-fledged forward. And when they figure it out, they'll be behind us. Lawsuits or no, we will have the support of the public when we save ourselves. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do.
But also the whatever radiation we're getting from all these tests they're doing, that's not good either. So it's probably better to not go through with it.
Well, and
Can I ask you one more? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you said that the noise harassment with the revving engines that does something. It activates or triggers the nano in our brain. Could you repeat exactly what you said that does? But also, if you wear earplugs and you don't really hear it and it's muted, does it mute the effect also, or?
It will mute the effect, but you should definitely wear ear protection at some point so you can gauge what I'm saying is true. What they do is they'll rev an engine or any instigation for that matter, and at that same period of instigation, they will sync their directed energy weapons to the implants and nanotech that goes throughout your body. So what I mean by that is that there'll be a loud, sharp sound. And at that exact moment of the large, sharp sound, there will be a sharp magnetic pulse sent to one part of your body to shock you.
Like a shot to the heart. I've had that, right?
Yeah, or the brain or wherever. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to entrain your body to these instigations, whether they're auditory or visual. A lot of times it's visual. What they'll do to people is they'll use various colors. And when they'll purposely parade these colors in front of the person, and as they're parading the colors, they'll use a strong pulse, but not sharp. They'll keep it sustained. So as long as this person sees this colored shirt or colored car, they're being hurt with these directed energy weapons. And then in the future, the idea is with the inflammation is that they can get you to commit some Manchurian crime, that they can parade some low-level perp that has no wherewithal about any of this stuff that we're talking about in front of you, and you'll attack them, right? Or you'll jaw off to them, you'll mouth off to them, you'll get into a confrontation with them. But that's the whole idea is to, that's how these instigations are working.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a great question. And once you understand that, if you turn away from the instigation itself and just focus on breathing, stomach breathing, and slowing everything down, you'll feel it. And you'll go, oh, that's the trick. That's what they've been doing. They've been entraining me to all these cues.
So a big part of this is also our control over our emotions too, and
100%. Because
separating from that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The disassociation. That's a lot of what the inflammation is causing, because it's so traumatic, right?
Can be.
Well, when they shock the crap out of you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say they have a dashboard, and it controls metabolism, emotions, and it also records your reactions to, just what you're getting up to day to day. So I can't wait for your theme when you're going to do the network of perps and exactly what these people that are put around us, what they're actually up to. That's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, we'll do that in probably like a month or something, because this stuff is actually more important. But you were saying the metabolization and all of that, like a reader that shows all this stuff. And yes, that's probably true regardless, because of the weapon systems evolvement and like the way it's evolved in the last 20, 30 years, all these different radar systems. But that being said, if you're not resonating with the directed energy weapons, their propensity to affect these systems within your body is very, very low. And when you deactivate implants and you demagnetize your body and you detox nanomachinery, you're taking their hardware out of your body. You're giving control back to yourself. That's the brilliance of what I'm talking about. And geez, that sounded really egotistical. It was a gift from God. All this information was literally a gift from God over the last 10 years. So it's not me, I couldn't even explain how I figured all this out in this sitting.
What I often do as well, I walk in a figure of 8. Walking in a figure of 8 makes your left brain work and then your right brain work. And that's supposed to be able to help to shake it off. And also walking backwards, doing things to sort of shake it off. So the brain entrainment that they've got us under, just messing about with it. I don't know what you think about that. Sorry for the person who have a question.
I think you're right, Kate. There's a lot of little habits like that can help very much. I know releasing fascia can help very much with the nanotech arrays. Havana syndrome, is that you making all the noise? Yeah, I think it is. Go ahead. You had a question?
Yes. Thank you so much. Great information, Anya, and good hearing Neil's voice too. Just the inflammation I want to speak about. I'm glad I did go to Dr. Lydia. Definitely not for the Havana syndrome. That wasn't my main reason for going there. I know I had it and being targeted for a number of years, but I wanted to be get tests like the lab work which showed very high cholesterol, which causes the inflammation. One of the things that can contribute, along with our diet and the radiation exposure and what they're doing to us. I'm being hit with that, but also the scanning ultrasound that showed the right carotid artery clogged. So I have to watch that. So I'm glad though I did go for the testing, because I didn't, and I still don't trust any other doctor. And I feel that the tests were legitimate, and honestly, the results were. Others I don't feel were. But inflammation, yes, is very bad. And I'm grateful for all the suggestions, advice, and information you're giving us all. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, and stay safe and well. And I'm going to continue listening always. And I'm going to mute myself now.
Hold on 1 second before you mute yourself. Was that Dr. Anna Marie you were talking about?
No, Dr. Lydia Stadenko in Edgewater, New Jersey, I went to twice.
Oh, okay.
3 and then 2025. And when I went to in 2025, my lab results were worse. But I am going to do alkalining, and I appreciate you speaking and definitely encouraging us. Yes. Thank you.
And I appreciate your comments, and I would say when you get the chance, build one of these and move through the paradigm. You'll get the most out of it. Just my opinion.
Hi, Andrew. I have a question. How do you feel about taking like prescription medications and supplements, and like there's a new thing called Masterpiece that people are raving about? I feel like they can manipulate medications and make them either not work or do whatever, because they can mess with, especially if the medicine, directly relates to your brain waves. But I don't know. I was just wondering how you felt about, do you think taking supplements is like a waste of money, or do you think that it's a good idea, or?
I think it's a good idea if you can get clean supplements. I think a lot of them, through a lot of different ways, are toxic. And it's a longer story there about how that all happens.
Because we don't know where they came from?
Well, yeah, and then sometimes they're toxified in the warehouses, sometimes they're toxified in the stores, and sometimes they're toxified in your house during break-ins. And more or less, they're being toxified all about the same way. It's nanoparticulate is being released, and then sometimes it's from the factory. All right, so I forgot about that. That's the old way. But the new way is that they're releasing nanoparticulate near these things and using, it's that same aerosol particulate I've been talking about this whole time, and then using weather weapons and basically just heating it up to get it into various things. And like plastic, for example, is porous. So you can get this particulate into a bottle that's sealed. So if you're mailing these supplements, that type of thing, they can get to it without showing any tamper evidence.
Wow, that's crazy.
The best thing to do from a detox standpoint is fasting. There's nothing more potent than fasting.
Okay. Did you hear about Masterpiece and at all, and people talking about that? People have said that their targeting after several weeks has stopped. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to believe, because I've been, I've been targeted for so long, and there's no simple solution. But I don't know.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, if they're genuine and not spooks or shills or whatever you want to call them, they're telling you that, or you're hearing that from, then maybe they did get a clean supply, and maybe they're not being genuine. And then if they're being genuine and they got a clean supply, when are the contractors on the ground going to adjust? When are they going to start getting into the mail or the house?
I think they sometimes can make you think that a certain supplement works, so you keep buying it and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it'd be very easy if they've broken into your house and they've put up cameras, which is usually the case, not to freak you all out. That's usually the case. Not to traumatize, I'm sorry, but it's true. Then they'll watch you take these things and they'll go, hey, lay off for a few hours, And every time you take it, then it's like entraining you to take it. And then when they go to turn it back on, like you're saying, it's like it's been full of this crap the whole time. And now they're utilizing, and you're going, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. I've had that happen to me, almost exactly like that.
Yeah.
They did that to me with methylene blue, actually. I got methylene blue back 5 years ago. Yeah, right around 5 years ago, right when it was like the naturopath community was first getting hold of it. And not that it's been around longer than that, but and they did that whole thing to me. And I think it was like the third time I took it, I was like, this is disabling me, but not immediately. 3, 4, 5 hours later. Yeah.
It's also a dangerous neurotoxin, according to a report I read from a neurologist, and I sent that information off to Dr. Anna Marie Mihalcha because she was getting that out as part of a heavy metal detox protocol.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing too, Neil, since then.
Good. I was taking it too, and I felt like I was getting worse.
Yeah, but it was like a slow build, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was dealing with bladder cancer also, so I had another thing pulling on me, but that turned out to be forever chemicals causing that.
Yeah.
Don't drink tap water ever.
And the fastest way to detox forever chemicals is fasting.
Oh, really? Well, I need to do that then.
It's a habit.
Fast for?
I'll fast for all sorts of different times. I fasted recently. I fasted for a day and a half, but I don't know. Before that, the last fast was 3 days. The last fast before that was like 2 days.
Wow.
But I try to do between 2 and 5 days. 5 being on the larger end. I've done more though. I've done like 8 days.
Are you doing lemon water with maple syrup, that master cleanse to keep your electrolytes up and stuff, or just water, or what?
It depends. Sometimes I'll use water every other day. I'll just drink regular distilled water. Other times I won't at all. I notice when I drink water when I'm fasting, it makes me way hungrier. So, yeah, if you don't drink water, it really is a lot easier to fast. In my
If
opinion.
it's too difficult, having bone broth helps.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing about fasting is just getting in the habit of it. Just doing it however you can, and then from there refining it.
Yeah, bone broth is magical. I wanted to ask you, if they're outgassing through sewer systems, does that mean that stuff is bubbling up through the water in a P-trap?
You know, I think it needs that displacement. Because you think about the sewers under vacuum. I've thought about this a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Because it has to suck it down, right? And it's all gravity, so it's going to be under some sort of force there. So when you displace that air going by draining water down, that's when it mostly comes up. It could waft up if they used weapon systems to pull it up, various electromagnetic.
So a one-way valve put in line with the sewer pipe would stop that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I used to use I used to use stoppers on all my, and I still do when I have to. You'll smell it. You put your nose over the drain some of the time, and you'll smell this crap coming out of it. But you literally, just a rubber stopper will stop it. They just don't ever expect us to figure it out.
We're waking up sneezing and stuffy nose. I mean, we're in Florida, which is mold from hell, but they keep a clean house. It shouldn't be from dust or anything like that. So what you're saying has got me alarmed because I forgot about it.
Yeah, 100%. That's how they're getting the majority of people with the aerosols. They'll only start releasing them from the neighbors when they get better chance at it, like say your next door apartment, or something like that, or when you start getting keen to the sewer system, or if they need you to irradiate you more because you're moving through the paradigm. You've deactivated implants or you're wearing copper or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and open this up to everybody, and we can finish off our last 15, 30 minutes.
Could I have you
with just everybody
talk
talking
real quick?
Okay, yeah, what's that?
Okay. I went to the hardware store while you were talking.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. Hold up. Let me see if I can switch it. So, is this good enough?
Hold on 1 second. Let me mute everyone, and then you unmute yourself again. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you, Faye. Yeah.
Can you see this?
Yes,
is
I
that
can.
Good enough?
Yes, maybe take the spark gap side and bring it a little bit tighter, just a little bit tighter, and then it'll be perfect.
To it?
Yeah. Like try to keep it at like an eighth or 2/8, a quarter, somewhere below a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, and
but
3/16 for sure.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure how to make it stay, but get it. Okay.
What's
But,
that
like,
in
really super close. And like on this side, is that okay like that?
Yep, just wrapped around as long as it's touching and secure.
Okay. All
Is
right.
that
I'm
now?
gonna go ahead and...
Okay, go ahead, fire it off.
Her unit is really showing everybody what that looks like. It's that simple, you guys. You can do this.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get something to... Okay, there we go. That's super close.
Is it charged?
Yeah. Well, I got to get something to test it on then.
Oh, no, just fire it off. It should just fire off. It should go through the spark gap.
Okay, well, let me at least go outside then. I don't want to break any of my equipment. Okay.
Yeah, don't put that near your computer.
It produces an EMP that can potentially hurt a smartphone if it's really close.
Oh. Okay, so I got to put my phone down then. I can't do show and tell.
Well, but you just keep it about like 2 feet away, and it should be good. Just hold it at arm's length full. All right. Do you get the spark?
Maybe it's not on. Oh, is it not on?
This is exciting, seeing someone do this in real time.
For sure.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And right when you hit it, yep, Faye, right when you hit it, we lost your audio because that EMP affects the mic, so it's working.
Right, same here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and like do it all over me, but without you guys watching.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Faye. That was great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording unless anyone's got any direct question left, and we're just going to open this up for the last 20, 30 minutes.
Well, I was just wondering, does the stun gun have to be a certain voltage?
No, I think the average one is like 5,000 or 8,000 volts, which is good. The average one's fine.
And I put a link for that AliExpress unit that I sent you for the lady in England who can get a stun gun there. You put the thing together yourself. They're $12 and maybe another $7 to $10 for the 2 batteries you buy for it. But anyway, it turns out it's a 10,000 volt unit.
Oh, see, 10,000 volts, perfect. If Neil, if you lessen the load on that and put some regular wire, it's going to work great. Yeah.
This was overkill, you guys. It was a coil I had in my garage. But there's the unit right there. I mean, it's kind of showing a reflection because it has a plexiglass case.
Hey, Neil.
All the parts. It's not too hard to put together.
That was actually the first way I figured out how to break these implants was with a ZVS induction driver, just like that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Neil. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I took a look at it, so yeah, I'll copy that and paste it.
Good, yeah, and get that link for the batteries too, because they're weird batteries. And I just wanted to mention, anybody on this call that has people that don't believe, their families don't believe that they're going through what they're going through. I was divinely guided to write a song after Derek Robinson said on a call, we need a song for this, and I'm a songwriter. And so I wrote a song. It's called Waves of Darkness. And if you go over to YouTube and you put in my name, which is Neil, N-E-A-L, and then Chevrier is C-H-E-V as in Victor, R-I-E-R. You'll find my channel, which is Merlin, spelled M-U-R-R-L-I-N, and the number 22, which is in numerology, love and God. And Merlin is the name of a Manx cat that I love dearly. You'll find the song Waves of Darkness. Have your friends and family listen to the song because it portrays what we're going through. I mean, it really came through me divinely guided. God wrote it through my higher self. It's the best way I can put it because I was in shock. I was crying like a baby because it came to me so fast. And then I recorded it and, put it out there. So it's helped some people to be able to, just tell them that the author of the song would never write anything like this if it wasn't true. And that I'm a person who's, been very interactive in the TI community for over 10 years.
Thanks so much for that. I'm going to check that out when we're done here. All right, so here I'm going to open her up for everybody, and then we're going to talk if we want for a little bit. And I'm going to close the